Good morning, everybody. Please, everybody who's not talking, please switch off your microphones and then we can start. So, yeah, good morning and welcome to our second interview already of our still new series, Morning Coffee with CEO. For this second interview, I really have the honor to welcome again a very special guest, this time Nijolė Kvietkauskaitė, the CEO of the Palink IKEA grocery store chain here in Lithuania. Unfortunately, as you are all aware, the situation right now does not allow us to have Nijolė here with us in person at our AHK premises, but I'm still very happy to have Nijolė with us online here today. So Nijolė, welcome and thanks for joining us.
Good morning to everyone, and thank you very much for inviting me for this coffee morning. In these COVID times, definitely, it is always pleasant to have company, even remotely. Having such, changed daily routine and working partly from home, partly from office, seeing less people than we used to, etc. So it's really nice to be in a good company. Thank you.
Yes, thanks for being with us. And yeah, as I think we can almost say always, this morning coffee interview will not take too much time, neither that of yours, Nijolė, nor that of our listeners and viewers out there. We will have a cup of coffee, talk for 30 minutes about interesting things in your life, Nijolė, and also in the life of IKEA. So everybody grab a cup of coffee if you haven't done so and enjoy our talk. And please don't hesitate to post your questions in the chat, or if you would like to ask them also directly to Nijolė. But before we start, here are a couple of interesting facts that I've also a little bit pre-discussed with Nijolė, and which I will try to touch upon during the next half an hour. So Nijolė, she studied Lithuanian literature as a first degree, but she also loves numbers, she tells me. She then started her career with Maxima, where she was a pioneer in food retailing in Lithuania, and she had actually to learn a lot from scratch from best practices abroad, and she brought the knowledge here to Lithuania. Nijolė is also a very experienced executive in all kinds of different sectors and companies, and thus has a good 360-degree view on the whole value chain when it comes to management. And this is also why Nijolė can say for certain that food retailing is the Formula One of industries when it comes to dynamic and speed. So Nijolė, let's start a little bit with the history of IKEA here in Lithuania. What brought you there and how did you become CEO? But before you answer, I also have a very short personal history to share with you and with everybody about IKEA. That is that I played soccer for a while together with Olivier Otis at FK Internationales some time ago, which is basically a soccer club of the Lithuanian Sunday League. So I don't think Oliver would remember me, but we actually played a couple of matches together. So Nijolė, how do you remember the beginning of IKEA, and maybe also tell us a little bit about the food retailing sector as a whole and the starting point here in Lithuania?
Absolutely. So I would start from the founding of Palink as an organization, because this year we celebrated 28th birthday of company, and the company was founded in 1992, and our birthday is 10th of September. And first store of IKEA was opened on 12th of October, and that is why every year we celebrate pretty loudly and I hope visibly to our customers our birthday. In 2 years we will be 30, a bit younger than independence of Lithuania, but still what I would like to stress out that Palink was at the very beginning of our independence era. And if those people who remember those times, everything was destroyed in the country at that time. There was no organized retail at all. There were lack of products on shelves, lack of shops, and at that time, country was in really difficult economical situation. And I remember very well, when first IKEA stores opened, it was something, because what Palink did, they brought to the country new shopping experience, which is very important, because founders of the company, Ortiz brothers, brought Western experience, Western knowledge, Western practice, to the country. And I remember very well when we were going to IKEA stores for something interesting. They brought, by the way, it's a very interesting combination, because founders of IKEA, they are Belgians by themselves, but they brought, when they developed a business, a lot of French products to the country. And somehow in our customers' head, when we are doing, surveys of customers, etc., they still assign French heritage to IKEA as our differentiator. It was very well supported by the fact that IKEA was the first one who introduced bakeries in shops. And we still are known in Lithuania as the ones who provides, the best quality, natural ingredients, French style patisserie in the country. And a lot of new things was implemented by organization. IKEA was a pioneer in technological development. Already in 2008, they implemented first checkouts, self-checkouts, which actually, even now, if you look through the countries, this is not that regular practice. And they were the first ones to introduce convenience store concept. So actually, what I really appreciate founders of organization and previous shareholders, that they built very solid foundation of organization, which is now for me, it's very, it's much easier to manage, because company, is still standing on very strong pillars, which were founded, by the founders of organization. We still have to catch up with development of organization, because that in our history we had these 2 years when we're supposed to be sold, and IKEA Holding, our rivals and peers in industry, Remi, supposed to acquire us, and it cost us a lot, I can say, because organization for those 2 years haven't developed in a pace it's supposed to be. And currently we are trying to catch up again, running, like in Formula 1, trying to catch up with everything, trying to get back our position #1 in technological advancement and customer shopping experience, etc., etc. So actually, a lot. By the way, from working in Maxima, what I remember very well about IKEA, that we, at that time, we never could copy quality of bread which IKEA had, and bakery quality, and we really tried different recipes, different ingredients, etc. But still, there was a time when everyone in Lithuania knew that at IKEA, bread is the best quality.
Okay, very interesting. I also remember from my time when I moved to Lithuania more than 10 years ago, I always used to buy the croissants at IKEA because they were very nice. So very good to know that all the French products were also brought to Lithuania by IKEA. Okay, so we basically, so you mentioned already the changes and Rewe. So we as the Baltic German Chamber of Commerce, of course, we have a very strong relationship between Germany and Lithuania, and of course Latvia and Estonia. But also now IKEA has the German shareholder with Rewe. So can you maybe give us an example between the Lithuanian and German business culture from your point of view, maybe from your own personal experience, and also what changed, if anything? So maybe nothing changed at all with entering Rewe into IKEA.
Rebe acquired 49% of Palink business at 2008, but it was not a control package of shares. It means, that companies still stayed pretty much independent, and this entrepreneurial spirit, which was, within DNA of our organization, because shareholders were still, in business, it remained for pretty long, and I hope that it still remains. And when a couple of years ago, Rebe Group acquired almost full portfolio of shares, we also a bit, we're thinking, what will change in management of organization? Does the spirit of entrepreneurship, will change in organization? How it will happen? And especially when there are a lot of myths, I would say, about special German culture. We were waiting, for that special German culture to come. waited. And, I don't know, for anyone's disappointment or encouragement, I can say, that we haven't experienced any cultural shocks, because we used to be very entrepreneurial company, and we still are. The management what we receive, from Rebe Group Germany, this is very much entrepreneurial, very much business oriented, result oriented, very much dynamic, actually, and everything what I've heard as a side effects of German culture, this is not present at current IKEA. So what I see, because I have experience, both, working in organizations where shareholders work, close to management, working in multinational organizations, I can say that in our experience, in IKEA experience, we are, just a very international organization, and we don't feel this German mythic impact on our culture, so which I would treat as a very positive sign. We're really, working as a multinational organization. We are discussing things intensely. We are deciding fast. We are delivering also fast, and almost every time successfully. So actually, pleasure to work here.
Okay, that's very nice to hear. So it was a very good match between IKEA and Rewe. So maybe Rewe is not such a German company as you were afraid of, and maybe you were already a more German company than you thought you were. So
also might be, yes.
Yeah. So not
yes,
too many changes happened there.
I just would like to mention still that in Rewe Group landscape, we're still a bit different, and I will tell why. Because first of all, we have 3 board members in the country, and from those 3 board members, 2 are not only Lithuanians but women, and 1 is German. So actually, this setup is not regular in Rewe Germany. So we are a bit outliner here, but with a very positive, connotation.
Yes, in a positive way.
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. Nijolė, thank you very much. But let's now talk also a little bit about social responsibility, which is also an ongoing theme with our morning coffee series here. And you, or IKEA, as the 4th biggest employer in all of Lithuania, you carry a huge social responsibility for your employees. So, Nijolė, I know that you're doing a lot for your employees. For example, you offer free counseling, a support line for people in distress. You also vaccinate all your workers against the flu. So tell us a little bit about this. What else maybe are you doing for your employees? And also, what is the rationale behind this? What is the strategy? How do you feel this social responsibility that I mentioned?
Again, I would still, would refer to the history, because social responsibility is in our DNA. IKI, it was the first and still the biggest partner of Maisto bankas, food bank in Lithuania. And if you would look to the amounts of donations which were donated through those years and still are, the difference between place number 1 and number 2 is huge. And so we haven't started, from nothing. we have already inherited in organizational culture a lot of social responsibility. What we are doing, we are just carrying it on. This is, I feel my personal responsibility, just to elaborate what is already created and to continue and to develop further. As you said, Dominic, being number 4th, is a huge responsibility. And we are very well aware of that. And in everything what we are doing, we're trying to contribute both to our employees, but well-being, as well, as our customers' well-being, as well as the country well-being. This is all levels are important to us, and this is not empty words. Just what I would like really to stress it out. This is not empty words. This is within organization, and why we are doing, I can say, because first of all, I even do not imagine how do not do that. This is, for me, this is not nice to have, this is must to have. If you really understand your place in the country and in the business. Also, if I am an employee, I would love to work for an organization who is socially responsible. And I'm always having in mind that when we are taking any decision, because people should also feel, that they are contributing to society, not only, just doing their job, but is doing something bigger and better. And that is why we are taking care about our employees. And on top of benefits, which you already mentioned, what we have, we, for example, contracted green energy for entire organization. And then we thought, if we have very good conditions for organization, why do not share these green energy prices with our employees? And this is when, and this ideas which is generated within the organization, say yes, and then we offered the same price as we have entire organization, with a pretty high consumption in the country, to our employees to benefit from that. As you mentioned, all these social responsibilities, such as vaccination from flu. One time a month we have a free health check. Doctors are coming to organization. If someone, in order to help our people, to save the time, they can be easily consult with the doctors, or check their health, or get the tests run, in the office, to save the time. So actually, internally, even we have the fund also created long time ago, which is called Veikime drauge, or Let's Do It Together, for our co-workers who has, either critical illnesses or troubles, or fire had happened, etc. We as colleagues and co-workers, we have very nice, by the way, Christmas auction which will happen next week, and there are gifts donated to organization, and we are buying them out, and all this money, which from the auction goes to support our colleagues if the problem happens. So actually, a lot of things are done to make them proud.
Mm-hmm. Okay, very good to hear. So basically you say it's not a nice to have, it's a must have, and you feel a personal duty to do so. And I think this is also a very good point here to insert the question, or well, a comment and a question from our actually first interview partner that we had a while ago from Victor. And he says, first of all, I want to thank IKEA for the support of Meister Bankers. So this is also what you mentioned. So it's very much appreciated also by our viewers here today. But he also has a question, and I will read it. He says, my question is, if you meet Rusev, so he probably means Radostin, the CEO from Lidl, somewhere, do you say him hello? Or how often do you visit competitors' supermarkets, maybe in order to get an understanding of what the other supermarkets are doing?
Lovely question. Yes, definitely. I would not only say hello, but also would ask, how are you doing, etc. Just really, we are tough competitors. We are rivals, but we also know how to say it. It is. I love competition. I'm very competitive myself, and the better competition environment, I feel more comfortable at, because then you can challenge yourself stronger. Then you can, speed up yourself, etc. I love competition, so really we appreciate, by the way, that we have very solid and developed retail sector in Lithuania, because we're really competing very fiercely, I would say, very fiercely. But we also appreciate, and I especially, there is certain aesthetic point, in business when you sometimes admire what your competition is doing. It means, they're really doing it. And our competitors really provide us, such moments. And then you think, and I have to do better. And I think, this is very good engine of further development for business. Mm-hmm. So definitely I would say hello. And talking about visiting competitors' stores, this is how to say, working in retail, it's mandatory. If you wanted to feel the business, if you wanted to feel what is changing there, the only way how you can do that, to be in stores. There is no other way. You can't grasp new trends, what's happening at a competition, what's happening with customers' behavior if you're not visiting the stores. So I can answer, Victor, that I personally visiting, all competitors on a weekly basis. Mm-hmm. On a weekly basis. I'm doing my round, and not only in Vilnius, but also in rural areas, in order to understand, what is the difference between big cities, small cities, etc., etc. So this is a very important part of management, I would say. So Formula One every day.
Yes, very good. And then, of course, as you said, competition is also always inspiration, because without competition, probably the job would be only half as fun as it is. Okay, so I mentioned it earlier, COVID-19, and talking about flu, vaccination, and everybody right now is dealing with COVID-19. It's in everybody's mind. But food retailing has a very special role in society, because if the grocery stores would stop working all of a sudden, society would have a problem. So how do you deal with this topic? Have you discussed this with your management team? What kind of scenarios maybe were you prepared for? What have you discussed? For example, what would happen if all employees would suddenly stop coming to work because they are afraid of the virus? Because in retailing, of course, you cannot work from home as we are doing it actually. So how do you also motivate your employees that your business is going on?
You touched very sensitive topic actually. When COVID first wave happened in spring, this was very tough time, and at that time, the only thing what we are doing, I'm not talking, that everyone was working, for 16 and 18 hours, a day, this is really, but it's such time, it shakes you, it shakes organization, it shakes you as a management team, it shakes you personally as a manager, how you will deal with that, for everyone in the world now, it was a really extraordinary situation, not only for us, but for me, what is positive side benefit of COVID effect, which I always, will carry with me, because first of all, I one more time not only understood but felt till my nails, till my bones, what incredible team we have at IKEA. This is incredible, because this level of management, the concentration, the listening to each other, contributing to each other, dealing, with the troubles, organizational skills. This was mind-blowing. Because in peacetime, you see people from a bit different angle. When there is war or crisis time, you can see, whom you are really working with. And I'm so proud, of IKEA team. This is not one of the best teams in Lithuania, then I don't know what. We really did amazing job, incredibly devoted, incredibly contributing, etc. And at that time, what we understood, there were a lot of worries. First of all, as you said, people, how people, employees in stores now, how they will react, because everyone got scared. Everyone, was worried about their families. about their personal health, etc., how they will react. Another topic was supply chain, because you remember there were a lot of discussions, that borders will be closed. And in retail, we are connected into, multi countries. Our products are, delivered from Spain, Italy, Greece, Germany, wherever. And imagine what would happen, if our stores would become empty. So actually, yeah, and by the way, we really wanted to appreciate, previous government, because we had very proactive discussion at that time, how to, to manage supply chain, because this is another very big topic. First of all, employees. Another one, to have products on shelf. You remember panic shopping. The third one, to calm down, to pacify our customers, that supply chain is not ruined. There will be enough products on shelves, and please behave calmly. We will deliver everything, and you will be happy. And at that moment, we really understood very well for ourselves that, what is food retail? We are feeding the country. And our role and mission and place in business is, extraordinary. Mm-hmm. Because maybe you can, do not want to refer to any other business, but imagine what would happen if, for example, all retail sector, food retail sector would go for strike. Or if suddenly, products delivery would be cut, and there would be empty shelves and there's nothing to eat for people. And then we really understood, very, very clearly, and we communicated it internally that, guys, we have to, to concentrate. We have, and to go to do our job, because we are feeding the country. Lithuania has, one of the highest coverage of the country having company. 65% in total area, in total country, this is our reach. In biggest cities, 85%. So actually, we are feeding almost everyone. So this is huge responsibility, but also huge motivator.
Okay, I see. I also have to say that the Lithuanian people behaved rather rationally, because if I compare it with the Germans, toilet paper was really scarce, to end it on a kind of more like a funny or ridiculous note. Here in Lithuania, actually, I haven't noticed these kind of panic purchases. I always saw that the shelves of the Lithuanian retailers were always full, everything was there. Whereas in Germany, actually, some things were sold out, or at least very, very scarce. Okay, thank you, Nijolė, for sharing this kind of very personal and also emotional note with us. I look at the time, and actually I've only managed to go through half of the questions I had for you. So let's skip maybe my questions that I had. There are a lot of other questions, as I mentioned, but we also have a question from Maria, and she thanks us also and you for sharing your experience. And connecting to the question that we have just discussed, she is asking if you have discovered maybe some new kind of communication tools during the crisis, which were effective to keep employees motivated and satisfied. Did the communication change within your company somehow, within maybe the management team, but also to the employees as a whole?
I can mention one maybe very helpful, at least for us, we felt internally very helpful. I'm not talking, that Zoom, Teams, Skype, for business, everything, this definitely was used to communicate, within office employees, and with store managers. But what helped us a lot, and maybe it would be useful, for the other ones, being not capable to reach everyone directly, we started our regular streaming of information to all our employees, and we use YouTube channel. And at time of pandemic, we did it once a week, when we as a management we communicated everything what's happening in the organization, everything what is happening with the business, problems, difficulties, answering the questions very proactively. People are participating very proactively, and I think it also helped us to manage people motivation and spirit at that time, because they were capable to have 1 hour a week hear what's happening in the entire organization. It means they felt involved, and also they could ask all possible questions, no matter how hard they were, no matter how tough they were, and we are be answering that. For now, we still continue because this is really very good practice. We are doing it once a month now because we simply adjusted for the situation. There is no such a need for often streaming, but I really would propose for all organizations who have, working, management remotely from the people, have live streaming, live Q&A sessions in order to be close to the people.
Okay, thank you very much. And I see Maria also nods her head, so I hope the question is answered. Thanks for sharing. So maybe one last question at the end. We touched it already at the beginning a little bit, but Kęstutis Galuza is asking, Palink belongs through its shareholders to the network of international companies. With which country do you identify your activities most? So is it still Belgium? Is it maybe France because of the product? Or is it Germany because of Rewe as a shareholder? Or is it maybe Lithuania in the end? So which country do you identify yourself with most?
Very complex question, incredibly complex question, because definitely now we are a German company, still having a lot of French flair in our DNA, and also very local one. So my answer, this is not simple. We are triplet. We are triplet. We are very local because we founded here in Lithuania. We built, yes, shareholders, we are Belgians, but built by a lot of Lithuanian people. So therefore we are really very, very much local. French flair, yes. And basement now, as German organization. So we're very multinational.
Okay, very good. Okay, Nijolė, we are almost at the end, but I would like to give you also the chance to tell our viewers, or is there anything else you would like to tell our viewers out there, kind of a, closing words or remarks from your side?
In these tough COVID-19 times, the most important thing which I would like to wish to everyone is, stay healthy. Stay healthy, take care of your families, take care of yourself. And what is the most important and what we are trying to keep within IKEA organization, keep your spirit high. Try to keep your spirit high and do not forget that Christmas is coming. And I really, we are working really hard, do not allow this COVID Grinch, to steal our Christmas, to steal our celebration. So guys, very cozy, maybe a bit different, but very nice, lovely, beautiful Christmas forthcoming. And one more time, stay healthy, and let's hope next year will be the better one.
Okay, very good closing words. Thank you, Nijolė, very much for this very interesting interview. And to everybody else, thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Have a nice pre-Christmas time. Don't let, as Nijolė said, steal or let the COVID Grinch steal your Christmas mood, and stay healthy. Thank you, everybody, and goodbye.
Thank you. Bye.